Coming up on OU Nightly, I'll have more on these very high allergy index numbers and how long they could stick around.
A heated exchange at the state capitol during today's State Board of Education meeting. We have the details. Plus, how the looming government shutdown could impact Oklahomans' ability to put food on the table. This is OU Nightly. Thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm Ireland Fitzer.
And I'm Morgan Martin. We begin tonight with an update on the high level of allergens outside right now.
OU Nightly meteorologist Braden Seo joins us live in the studio with the first look at that allergy index.
Yeah, ladies, as you can see on this graphic, we've got very high levels of weed pollen, specifically ragweed pollen, which is leading to a lot of people having issues with sniffles and sneezes out there. Mold spores on the high side as well, so not helping us out with that high allergy index. And these temperatures are not helping us out either. We've got temperatures in the 90s statewide, and that will continue as we head through the weekend. And this will lead to a continuation of that high allergy index before we're looking at a pattern change by the middle of next week, leading to cooler temperatures and a chance for some rains, which could possibly lower those high allergy index numbers. Ladies, over to you.
Thank you, Braden. Outside today's State Board of Education meeting, protesters clashed over one person, State Superintendent Ryan Walters. OU Nightly's Noah Mack is in the newsroom with more.
That's right, Morgan. Protesters gathered at 9 this morning and tensions were high.
You do not get to push your theological beliefs into my schools, into my kids' schools.
I'm asking, why is there such a big push for Christianity in our schools?
Here's your show.
Because people want it.
No, that's not what people want.
Do
that's
want
what you want.
No,
that's what you want.
That's what you
that's
tell
not what
me.
Everyone
Dueling views and dueling signs, protesters from a group called Defense of Democracy sparred with Ryan Walters supporters. They argued over whether Christianity belongs in schools, something Ryan Walters has branded his administration on. In his recent trip to Washington, D.C., Walters made headlines by affirming his position of separation of church and state. In the newsroom, Noah Mack, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Noah. With days left until a possible government shutdown, some agencies are preparing for the worst, including local organizations who feed thousands of people across Oklahoma. Kevin Palomino is in Washington, D.C. with the story.
While Congress fights to save the country from a government shutdown, the Women, Infant, and Children Nutritional Program known as WIC, which provides people with food vouchers, is preparing for a different battle.
Slowly, we've been pulling these benefits out, and now we're saying, well, we'll just shut down the government because we're having a disagreement on a few things and, not really paying attention to who that hurts.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture says roughly 70,000 Oklahomans use WIC, and local organizations working to put food on people's tables say this looming government shutdown is unprecedented.
And we still don't have clear information on exactly what's going to happen when. So for folks who are participating, it creates a lot of confusion, it creates a lot of fear.
The Oklahoma Health Department told Gaylord News the state WIC program does not anticipate an immediate impact if the government shuts down, but are communicating with federal partners for guidance. And Chris Bernard with Hunger Free Oklahoma asks people to rely on their local WIC agencies for this information, make sure their benefits are still good to use, but most importantly, stay calm.
That may be looking for other resources now to help subsidize that budget or access additional food for your family is something that people really need to be thinking about.
Other programs in danger of halting are the Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program called SNAP, which forms part of the Farm Bill, although SNAP would have funds for another 30 days after a government shutdown. The U.S. Department of Agriculture says WIC enrollment has increased steadily since 2022, just adding more strain to those organizations who feed hungry Oklahomans across the state if a shutdown does happen. Kevin Palomino for Gaylord News in Washington.
And that possible shutdown has Will Rogers World Airport and the Tinker Air Force Base bracing for a possible pause on hiring and training air traffic controllers. This comes as 77% of airports are already understaffed. Tinker Air Force Base officials say the shutdown will impact local military readiness. U.S. lawmakers have until October 1st before government funding for some services runs out.
And House Republicans held their first hearing in the impeachment inquiry of President Joe Biden. Emery Johnson has that and the rest of today's national and international headlines from the News Center.
A suspect in the murder of tech CEO is now in police custody. Baltimore authorities arrested 32-year-old Jason Billingsley in connection to the murder of CEO Pavel Lapierre. Lapierre was found dead at her apartment building earlier this week. Billingsley is a convicted felon and registered sex offender who was released last October. Billingsley is now facing first-degree murder and first-degree assault charges. House Republicans held their first hearing in the impeachment inquiry of President Joe Biden today. This in the effort to tie the president to his son Hunter Biden's foreign affairs. House Democrats say Republicans failed to present any proof of wrongdoing by the president. Congressman Jamie Raskin criticized his Republican colleagues for advancing with the hearing due to insignificant evidence. The Biden administration is calling on American colleges to become more racially diverse by offering more minority scholarships and increasing minority recruitment. A new report by the Education Department outlines strategies to increase diversity following a ruling by the U.S. Supreme Court which bars colleges from considering race in applications in the admissions process. Republican Representative Burgess Owens says the committee will keep a close eye as the 24 application process unfolds. The British actor Michael Gambon, known for his role as Albus Dumbledore in the 6th of the 8 Harry Potter films, died today at the age of 82. Morgan, Ireland, back to you.
Thank you, Emery. Thousands of parents will fill OU's campus this weekend for Fall Family Weekend. OU Nightly Snow Forth shares how this weekend may look a little different for some students.
Family Weekend, a time for families to visit OU and spend quality time together. Campus will be filled with families this weekend. However, not everyone's family can make the trip to Norman.
It's kind of expensive to go back home, so I haven't gone back since I got here. So
Nwatu says she misses her family back in Nigeria.
It was a bit, I think, rough for me being away from my family for the very first time.
And for OU international student Kamal Matara, home is over 8,000 miles away in Nepal, and last saw his family 5 years ago when he left at 13 years old.
I talk to them like maybe once in a month, sometimes. Yeah, sometimes once in 2 or 3 months. It depends.
Although these students don't get to be with their families this weekend,
I'm used to it, right? So I have friends who have become my family. I hang out with them.
They say the OU community has helped them while being far from home.
Like we cook together always. This is our like daily routine. So I don't think it will affect me a lot.
My roommate was from Oklahoma. And she was like family to me. So she made OU feel like home for me away from home.
So while many OU students will be spending time with their family, these international students will be gathering with those who feel like it.
Whenever we have such weekends, being surrounded by those kind of people just makes it easier for you those weekends.
Snow Forth, OU Nightly.
Family Weekend festivities start tomorrow and anyone is welcome to participate.
And when OU Nightly returns, concern over the shortage of a life-saving medication in the U.S.
Hear what group it's affecting after the break.
And the potential connection between parents and their kids' health habits.
Find out what researchers say about the influence of drinking.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those barbecues you plan in detail for your family? Or your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
How prepared is your family? if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane. You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes. Make a plan today.
Did you know that items like paint, cleaning solutions, pesticides, solvents, and other chemicals are considered household hazardous waste? These chemicals are dangerous to our environment and water quality when they are dumped in our storm drains or gutters. Fortunately, the City of Norman has a dedicated household hazardous waste facility where you can properly dispose of these items. Call 405-366-5463 to make an appointment. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater.
Doctors out with a new warning amid a shortage in a cancer treatment for children. Darian Curry has that and more in today's Health Beat.
Life-saving cancer drugs are in short supply after the pandemic. One researcher says doctors are experiencing severe shortages in staffing and child cancer treatments. The Children's Oncology Group says 75% of pediatric oncology centers don't have enough methotrexate, a drug that helps treat cancer. Doctors say these shortages are unique to the United States. And the FDA updates the label of popular diabetes drug Ozempic due to reports of blocked intestines. Ozempic and fellow diabetes drug Wegovy have soared in popularity over the years as methods to lose weight. The drugs mimic a naturally occurring hormone that slows the passage of food through the stomach. Both drugs are now changing their labels to acknowledge the reports of blocked intestines. The Journal of Adolescent Health releases a new report connecting parents drinking to teen drinking. Researchers say teens who have parents who regularly drink or binge drink are more likely to consume about the same amount. Experts also found more than 45% of children who start drinking at age 13 or younger develop alcohol problems. And in honor of National Suicide Prevention Month, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services awarded hundreds of millions of dollars in grants to help prevent suicides. Ireland, Morgan.
Thank you, Darian. Oklahoma on the big screen in the Big Apple today as Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon film debuts in New York. Several members of Osage Nation attended the premiere, as well as several Osage actors featured in the film. The film tells the story of the 1900 Osage murders after Oklahoma's oil boom.
And coming up on OU Nightly, another day without a winner for the Powerball.
We'll tell you how much money is on the table when we return.
And temperatures outside are in the 90s right now, but that could change as we head into next week with the pattern change. I'll have more on that coming up.
To Sofia and Gabriel, even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love. These stitches and threads join us together. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
The central and midwestern U.S. averages more than 850 tornadoes each year, and lately, the number of floods has been rising in the region too. So chances are, there will be more twisters and floods near here again. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are, you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has all the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Welcome back to OU Nightly. Here's a live look over our beautiful campus this afternoon. Temperatures are currently in the lower 90s with that humidity on the lower side, so the feels like temperature is sitting right around what the actual temperature is this afternoon. And you can see across the state here, when we look across most of Oklahoma, we've got temperatures in the low to mid 90s, even some upper 90s in places like Enid. So definitely not feeling like fall out there. And that's the same story across much of the southern plains, looking at 90s statewide into Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, even Missouri, getting into those 80s. So certainly not feeling like fall just yet, but that could be changing. And I'll talk about that coming up a little bit later. Looking at the current humidity, you can see it's on the lower side, which is leading to those feels-like temperatures being very near those actual temperatures. And with these warm temperatures and lack of rainfall, of course, comes the drought. And you can see we've got here in southwest Oklahoma stretching across southern Oklahoma and even portions of northern Oklahoma in severe drought. And that looks like it will continue at least for the next several days before possibly getting at least a break by the middle of next week. And you can see this high pressure system locked in place here across the southern plains. But pay attention to this feature right here. This starts to move slowly eastward over the next couple of days. The high pressure system starts to inch its way off to the east. And you can see here by Monday, we've got a few scattered showers starting to develop in the panhandles, but that really starts to spread across our region by Tuesday into Wednesday, when we could be seeing a line of thunderstorms along the cold front as that storm system pushes to the east. Looking at Futurecast, you can see over the next couple of days, temperatures will be in the 90s, then cooling down, and then the future precip, this is on the higher side, so take this with a grain of salt. But Norman could be seeing some very beneficial rainfall even across the entire state as we go through next week. Highs will dip down into the 70s by next week, which is a welcome relief because it is September and we're still dealing with temperatures in the 90s. Lows tonight in the 70s, highs tomorrow, once again getting up into those 80s and 90s across the state. Looking at your game day forecast, it looks like it's going to be a hot one with temperatures starting off in the 90s at 4 p.m., 90s once again at kickoff, but by halftime those temperatures will drop into the 80s. 7-day forecast shows highs in the 80s once again tomorrow, into Saturday and Sunday and Monday. But as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, we could be looking at a storm system pushing through the state, which will give us a decent chance for rain on Wednesday before pushing out by Thursday.
And so you said that we're hearing a lot about fall temp weather and all that, but are we actually going to be seeing some fall temperature stuff next week?
Well, once the cold front pushes through with that storm system, we're going to be talking about temperatures in the 70s. So definitely going to be feeling a lot better than it is right now.
Okay, and I have a question for all the allergy sufferers out there. When those weather temperatures cool down, do our allergies get better? Does that allergen index drop?
It'll be the rain that'll help us out because it kind of washes away all that pollen. So once the rain pushes through, the allergens should get better.
Okay, well, if the family weekend goers and all of our visitors here this weekend can handle the allergies, if they also want to venture out, now would be the time to buy a Powerball ticket because one lucky winner could go home with over $900 million after the Powerball prize spiked last night. This is the 30th drawing this year without a winner, making this jackpot the 9th largest lottery prize of all time. The odds currently stand at 1 in 200 million, but at $2 a ticket, it's a risk that many say they're willing to take. And the next drawing takes place Saturday night. And a big merger in the world of football and what it means for the game going forward.
OU Nightly's Stone Weber has all of that and more in sports.
Moving to the college level, OU football hosts their final game before the Red River rivalry. Find out how good this OU team can be from junior linebacker Danny Stutzman. Don't go anywhere. Sports is next.
It all can get so out of control. Sometimes you can lose your faith, you can lose your mind, lose your grip, get stripped of your pride till you don't know how you're gonna stay alive. Hey, hey, I got you. I will give you what you need, and I'll be right there. I got your back. I got you.
Did you know that items like paint, cleaning solutions, pesticides, solvents, and other chemicals are considered household hazardous waste? These chemicals are dangerous to our environment and water quality when they are dumped in our storm drains or gutters. Fortunately, the City of Norman has a dedicated household hazardous waste facility where you can properly dispose of these items. Call 405-366-5463 to make an appointment. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater.
Meet the Scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you!
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Hi, I'm Stone Weber, and it's time for sports. OU football is one of just 27 undefeated teams left in the FBS as they head into week 2 of conference play. Last week, OU defeated the Cincinnati Bearcats 20-6. This week, the 14th ranked Sooners welcome the Iowa State Cyclones to Norman this Saturday at 6 p.m. Night games in Norman have been favorable for OU as they've won their last 17 of 18 against the Bearcats last weekend. OU's defense gave up just 2 field goals, but linebacker Danny Stutzman still sees some room for improvement.
I think we just got to kind of be a little bit better in the passing game. I think we can clean up some run fits here and there, but overall, I think we're doing good. But I want to see a little bit more pressure from, especially the backers, our blitz angles, our tracking. I think we're going to cut down some missed tackles here and there, but we're making some steps in the right direction for sure.
Week 4 of the NFL kicks off tonight as the 2-1 Detroit Lions head to Lambeau Field to face the Green Bay Packers. The Packers are looking to avenge last season's home loss to Detroit, and both teams are coming off wins on Sunday, and this will be Packer quarterback Jordan Love's first start on Thursday Night Football. The XFL and USFL announced Thursday the 2 leagues plan to merge and will begin play next year. The XFL is owned by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and his ex-wife Dani Garcia, while the USFL is owned by Fox. Both leagues each have 8 teams, but it has not been announced on whether or not they will keep all 16 of those teams combined. And for the 5th time in their history and the first time since 1996, the Oklahoma City Dodgers are Pacific Coast League champions. Last night, the Dodgers beat the Texas Rangers AAA affiliate, the Round Rock Express, 5-2 to sweep the series. They now await the winner of the Durham Bulls and the Norfolk Tides and will play Saturday. Saturday's game is at 9 p.m. and will be played in Las Vegas. Moving over to the pitch, OU soccer is undefeated on the season at 2-0-1 and have their toughest matchup of the season tonight. Their squad heads to Lubbock for a matchup with league-leading and 19th ranked Texas Tech. To the hardwood, OU volleyball heads to Orlando to take on Big 12 newcomer UCF tonight and tomorrow. They're looking to get back on track after dropping 2 matches against Texas. Both matches tip off at 6 p.m. and you can watch on ESPN+. Ireland, Morgan, back to you.
Thank you, Stone. And when we come back, information on an investigation underway at the British Museum.
Find out the shocking number of artifacts missing.
Did you know that trash, like plastic bottles and fast food wrappers, can carry germs and bacteria? When these items are tossed in the street, they eventually find their way to a river or lake and have a negative impact on aquatic life. Keep our waters clean by putting your trash in the bin. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater. Things like grass clippings and leaves can contribute harmful levels of nutrients into our surface and drinking water. We must improve water quality at Lake Thunderbird, our main drinking water source, which begins with taking care of our stormwater. Bag your clippings when mowing, or leave them to break down and nourish your lawn. We drink our stormwater, so don't blow it by leaving your grass clippings in the street. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater.
The family's visit to the forest inspired a beautiful question. Mother, mother, am I a tree? You tell me to stand tall. You tell me to stay rooted. I think I am a tree. My child, of course you are. But what kind of tree will you be? The kind to hug or the kind to climb? Doesn't matter which you choose, so long as you choose to be a tree that's kind.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
I'm Colson Pocock at the OU Nightly Update Desk. An Edmond man charged for the murder of his parents is found not guilty by reason of mental illness. Michael Elijah Walker admitted to killing his parents back in 2019, but was deemed not competent to stand trial. Walker is being sent to the state's mental health facility where he'll stay until the courts deem him not dangerous. Ireland, Morgan, back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Colson. The British Museum is asking for the public's help to recover nearly 2,000 stolen artifacts.
Officials say many of the items include Greek and Roman gems and jewels.
And around 60 items have already been returned, but the theft was only discovered when some of the items were reportedly being sold online.
In addition to their investigation, London authorities have started a hotline for those who think they may have some of the items. But Morgan, I'm really curious to see if anybody that has them would actually use it.
I agree, and I know this investigation will continue bringing us information as we hear more about it, but I'd like to know how long they didn't know these items were missing for. Very interesting. But OU Nightly meteorologist Braden Seo joins us again with the final look at the forecast.
Braden, when will we see some of those cooler temperatures?
Well, ladies, unfortunately today we're not looking at any cooler temperatures out there, as we've got temperatures in the 90s through the evening, dipping down into the 80s by 8 p.m. and then into those 70s as we head into the overnight hours. And then looking at the next couple of days, you can see by 6 a.m. tomorrow right around the 70-degree mark, rising once again into those 90s before dipping down once again into the 70s on Friday night into Saturday morning. The 7-day forecast paints an interesting picture though, because we've got these summer-like temperatures here Friday, Saturday, Sunday into Monday, but by Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, that's when things get interesting as a storm system approaches the area, potentially bringing a pretty good coverage of showers and thunderstorms by Wednesday and then pushing out as we head into the day on Thursday. Ireland, Morgan, over to you.
Thank you, Braden, and thank you for watching OU Nightly.
Be sure to join us weekdays live at 4:30. Good night.
Prepared as your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood,